Dave Michaels, and we get an opportunity now to talk to Hall of Fame defensive back of the Dallas Cowboys, Mel Renfro. And before we start, Mel, I want to ask you a specific question. I want you to go back a little bit in your memory. I want you to talk about the day that you found out that you were actually a member of the Blue and the Silver. What was that like for you?
You know, it took them a long time for my draft round to pass, and I was sitting in a hotel room in Portland, Oregon, with a bunch of scouts, and it took so long that I went back to Eugene, and I got a phone call when I got back to Eugene that I'd been drafted by the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, your first camp, your rookie year was 64. Were you guys already at Thousand Oaks in those days? Had you already gone out to Thousand Oaks in 64, or was that a little bit later?
No, we went out to Thousand Oaks in 64. I spent all 14 of my years out in Thousand Oaks.
Training camp from then to what you see today of the type of training camps, the OTAs and things like that, what type of player would a Mel Renfro be if he had that type of training all year long instead of having to go and find a real job at the end of the season to earn money to put food on your table? But if you had that kind of training all year long that these guys have, how much better would a Mel Renfro been?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'd been that much better. Probably a little bit better. Probably a little bit stronger. But I always came to camp in great shape. I always had good muscle tone, and, I had the speed. So it's just a matter of techniques and, learning what you're supposed to do and going out there and executing. 4
trips to the Super Bowl, 2 rings. That's a pretty good career, but what was it like when you got the call to say you're now a member of the fraternity known as the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Well, it was kind of bittersweet. More sweet than bitter because I was in, but I'd been denied for 14 years. I was eligible in 83 and didn't go in until 96, and I think there was some politics involved in that happening. But no, when I got the call, I was just kind of somber. I was in Portland, Oregon, and it was snowing that morning, and I got a phone call. Got a phone call from a reporter in Chicago saying, "How does it feel to be in the Hall of Fame?" And I got real quiet, and so I turned the TV on, and there it was. My name was going across the reader board. Mel Renfro was one of the inductees, and I was just very happy.
You played on a team that talk about the Dallas Cowboys in the 60s and the 70s. This was kind of a dream team of sorts because you had such great talent on the team, from Bob Lilly to George Andre to Chuck Howley, Leroy Jordan, yourself, Cornell Green, and then on the offensive side, Don Meredith, Perkins, Reeves, Calvin Hill, some guy named Hayes. You played, and you shared the punt duties with Bob Hayes at one time, didn't you?
You shared them with me.
That's it.
I was punt return, kickoff return, and full-time on defense. Free safety my first year, strong safety my second year, cornerback my third, and I played all the positions. And we had, like you said, we had talent. We had a lot of strong talent. We were in the playoffs, knocking on Super Bowl's door every year.
You got a chance to play for one of the best of the best in Tom Landry. Give me a thumbnail sketch of what it was like for you to play for the man in the funny hat.
It was great. It was great because he was such a great coach, smart coach, a great leader. The first 2 or 3 years there, I didn't like him very much because he was on you. He left no stone unturned. But as we learned the system and we developed and started playing well together and started winning, winning makes everything all right. And Landry was just a great human being, and he made us all better human beings because of it.
You keep up with the Dallas Cowboys, I'm assuming. Your kind of an overall opinion about this year's team. What have you been able to see? I'm certain you got a chance to see a little bit of the preseason game, but what is it that you see, the pluses and the minuses on this 2011 Dallas Cowboys squad?
Well, I think what I see the first game and kind of what I've gathered from listening to some of the talk, that they're a determined group this year. They were a little lackadaisical last year, always saying they're going to get it together, and they never did. This year they know what they have to do. And that first game, although the veterans didn't play very much, they showed me something of the mental toughness and I think how they're going to play all year. So I think they're going to do well.
Jason Garrett remind you of anybody in particular?
Not really. He's got his own style. He seems to be a happy coach. I've never seen many coaches that seem happy. You see him on the sideline. He's smiling, grinning. He's joking with his players. You don't see that very often, but I guess he's got his way of doing things, and hopefully it'll work for him.
Hopefully so. Mel, we appreciate you taking the time with us. Mel Renfro, Hall of Famer, All-Pro, and best of all, one of the very best that ever put on the blue and the silver. I'm Dave Michaels.